Did it all on my own, turned a chair to a throne. I'm a king and it's why I start hard. I put my whole city
You are now tuned into First Round by.
If I did start hard. And every night is a premiere. If I ever disappear, best believe I'm coming back. Start hard.
With your hosts, Justice General Radford, host of the Justice for All podcast, Jake Jordan, host of The Lowdown with Jake Jordan.
Oh, I wasn't talking. I was talking, but y'all couldn't hear
Justice.
What is going on, Bills Mafia? What's up, everybody? You are now tuned in to First Round by. We are your Friday night guys under the Friday night lights.
Let's go.
Let's
Now do it again next week.
All right, let's get it. We'll take it day by day, we'll stack good days, right?
Yeah.
You are watching First Round by. This is the official network of the original Bills Mafia. I am going to be doing half of your hosting duties tonight. My name is Justice General Radford. That guy right there to my, what do y'all see? I'm not even gonna pretend like, all right, the guy right here. All right, that's my man Jake Jordan. He's going to be doing the other half of the hosting duties tonight.
Yes, sir.
And then we have a special guest tonight, guys who you've probably seen if you've watched any of our programs. We all know Charlie's body of work. He owns like 12 businesses. He has like 17 podcasts. He's a hardworking man. He's taking a little break, but well deserved. We got Charlie Gross in the gentleman tonight, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing, Charlie?
I am doing fantastic, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's nice to see you guys. I know we've got a few people in the chat already, which is that way for me. So yeah, I'm ready to talk some Buffalo Bills football, and let's get hyped, man. Let's go.
Absolutely, let's do it. So Gabe Davis.
Sure, yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's talk about Gabe Davis.
The only thing that they talk about with Charlie is Gabe Davis.
You had me heated on Tuesday, Charlie. I'm out there trying to work out, get my routes in, and I hear Charlie go, well, I think other people should be getting the targets this year. It's not going to be
Crowder
Gabe Davis.
Is going to be better than Gabriel Davis this year.
Yeah, you can ask Justice. I texted him. I'm like, bro, Charlie had me heated. You lucky I wasn't on that show.
He definitely did. My guy, my brother, Vince Taylor. Appreciate you, bro. He is in the chat as well. That's family right there, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, absolutely. So we are going to be getting into AFC East position breakdowns this week. Okay. So Charlie, I was on the timeline earlier. Charlie hit me. He's like, hey, bro, if you had to choose another quarterback in the AFC East to take and you couldn't choose your own quarterback, who would it be? And I was like, wow. I mean, it's kind of like, Zach Wilson by default almost, right?
I was about to say it's kind of easy for me, actually, with our coaching staff. I feel like you want the guy with the highest amount of athletic upside. So.
Absolutely. Right. And not only just the arm talent upside as well. Like, Zach Wilson is probably not going to be Josh Allen, but I mean, under the right tutelage, he could definitely be something special. So it's almost like, that's obvious. So shout out to Coach Boom as well in the chat. Appreciate you guys as always. So that sparked an idea, and I was just like, maybe we should go over position breakdowns, for the entire AFC East, because let's see, let's get down to the nitty gritty, right? Like, who really is going to challenge the Buffalo Bills for AFC East supremacy this year, right? So let's break it down, fellas. You guys ready to break this down? You ready to break this down, Charlie?
Oh, I'm ready.
Ready? You ready to break this down, Jake?
I'm always ready.
All right, leave us a like if you're ready to break this down, chat. I'm trying to be a better host, guys. Okay, don't Don't like
slap
laughing.
that like button.
Likes and comments affect the algorithm in a positive way and show this content to other people, and also let Justice and his wonderful team know that you like the content.
See,
Everything
that's the
Charlie just said.
nicest way of just saying, slap that like button. Slap it. Slap it
Beat
so hard. If you think that Josh Allen, see, we're gonna beg for like, slap it if Josh Allen's the best quarterback. In
That's the
AFC.
new thing on Twitter. I don't know
There
if
you
you
go.
guys have noticed. I don't want to take us off track real quick, but it's like just asking questions, right? Like, what's your favorite kind of bread? And then like they get all time, like, you know, hundreds and hundreds of replies, right? Like that's the new thing.
Yeah.
So
Creamy or crunchy?
I mean, I guess
Hmm.
I prefer. I just prefer, like, I don't know what
Uh-huh.
I prefer.
I'm
I
a
asked a
I'm a
question, I
creamy
can't
man
answer.
myself, but you know, crunchy. I'm not
Oh,
gonna be
yeah,
mad.
creamy all the way. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm both. You know, I probably prefer creamy.
Yeah, I mean, if
Right.
I have a choice, I'm gonna choose creamy peanut butter. But
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
if
But
someone's like, "Oh, I have
honestly,
crunchy," I'm not gonna throw a fit.
yeah, like if you get a PB&J, a nice helping of jelly, and then you get crunchy peanuts, I'm not mad at that.
Oh
I'm not
man,
mad at that at
to
all.
me, see, I'm the opposite. Like I don't like anything hard and crunchy.
Hmm.
You know, I prefer the alternative to that, which is, you know, soft, smooth, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
So
I'm a bit of
everybody,
a food weirdo.
everybody tuned into the show. They're like, position breakdown. And we're like, what's the best peanut butter?
We really meant peanut butter breakdown.
Yeah, the peanut butter breakdown. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we did. So we gave you guys a little, you know, something to take home with you. All right.
Smash the like if you like smooth peanut butter. Leave a comment if you like crunchy peanut butter.
Absolutely.
Charlie's already got it.
Exactly.
already got
He's
it.
affecting the algorithm. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead. Might as well start with the position that, you know, everybody cares about, right?
Kick returner.
I was just about to say it. I was about to say something. I was about to be like safety or something, right? All right. So we're going quarterbacks in the AFC East. So we're gonna rank these guys, okay? All right. So we're gonna go from 4 to 1 because suspense and content and everything else they teach us in school, right? All right. So 2, 3, 4. All right, dead last, the least talented quarterback in the AFC East. Now, gentlemen, let's set some parameters. Okay. This is every single player that we're going to rank tonight. They all have the exact same team. They have the exact same you know, things to work with. You know, this is just them being plugged into a role on a basic NFL team. Who do you think is more talented and would succeed, all things equal? All right. This isn't like who has the best chance to succeed this year, or anything like that, right? So we're going dead last in talent, right? And I know we're probably gonna see. I can't even make a joke because we all know who's the most garbage quarterback in the AFC East. Jake, who are you gonna go with?
So I feel like you want me to say Tua.
See, that's the thing. Like, I wanted to joke and say, like, oh, Zach Taylor, but it's most clearly not. And then it's like the joke guy is actually the worst quarterback. So
yeah, like if I'm gonna sit here and like in a bubble and everybody's got the same team, it might. I mean, and everybody's got the same coaches, and that coaching staff isn't Bill Belichick anymore. I don't know what Mac Jones is doing, honestly. Like Mac Jones's game, I feel like just athletically, he doesn't have, at least Tua can move a little bit. Like Mac Jones is kind of like that old prototypical. He can still move. Like he's not, you know, being running around like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and all that, but he's kind of just a pocket statue. And I don't know if he's necessarily got as much upside as maybe somebody like Tua could have, but everybody's in a bubble. So I would probably say Mac Jones here, just athletic wise.
all right, so Jake just totally put a screw in the entire cog. Okay. So I am changing up the way I am adding points. All right. So we're going to do an average total of all the positions Guy with the least amount of points is the best. Guy with the most amount of points is the worst. Mac Jones now has 4 points, being that he is the 4th best quarterback in the division, according to Jake. Right? Simple enough, everybody. All right, we got a whole analytics guy down here, and then UCF grad.
He's got it.
I'm probably the dumbest person on the stream, but all right, so
that's not nice.
Yeah, Justice, don't sell yourself short.
y'all are crazy. All right, Mac Jones is 4th. Says Jake Jordan. Charlie Gross, who you have 4th in the AFC East?
Well, I gotta say that this is, especially with the quarterbacks, it's a really strange and I think difficult exercise. I think obviously I think we all know who we're gonna pick number 1. But the other 3 are really interesting because they all kind of came in the league almost at the same time, and they all went to different situations. 2 of them have what I think is a very similar skill set, and they went to the same college.
Yeah,
it's very weird because we're really asking ourselves to do a projection, and it's kind of like, okay, well, which one of these guys would flourish on a great team like the Bills? But then the opposite question is kind of like, okay, which one of these guys could lift up a team better too, right? Like, and I think those are different answers to the same question. So I guess I would say Mac Jones, because I think that his ceiling, excuse me, is kind of set. Like, he kind of is who he is. Now, you put a guy like Mac Jones, who is on, I don't know, like the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills would still be a really good team. Obviously, they're not doing the down the field stuff, and the athletic upside isn't there. But Mac Jones' skill set, like he's in that sort of Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, cerebral, like, I'm going to go as far as my mental acuity can take me. I mean,
sure.
So, yeah, I think he's the least talented from, like Jake said, from an athletic standpoint, but he gets in the right situation, like with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be a real contender with him. So it's a really interesting question, but I'll put Mac Jones at number 4.
Yeah.
Yo, y'all really, like, seriously, Mac Jones, y'all are absolutely correct.
Mike Jones.
Y'all are absolutely correct. I think Mac Jones is the 4th most talented quarterback in here as well. And, when I think about the question, at first you go, okay, let me look at the teams and how they did, right? Obviously, the Patriots did what they did. The Jets were hot doo-doo garbage, but we know Zach Wilson has talent. And then the Dolphins were decent to good. Decent, though. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, but who would I least want if I was starting my own team? Would I want Tua? That's a hell no. But it might be an even bigger hell no to Mac Jones. And yeah, I'm not just like, at least Tua can somewhat move around, and he's smart. I feel like he's a leader. Like, I mean, he has mental fortitude, like an MFer. Okay. All right. Because I mean, if you look at the situation he was put in, he was set up to fail a lot of times.
That's a fair point. He certainly has, it seems like, the right mental makeup to handle adversity.
Absolutely. You look at what he's been through in this NFL. Baker Mayfield got one sniff of what Tua's entire career has been.
I was just about to say it. And
he folded like a table, like a chair. He folded quickly. Tua has been dealing with this. He's fought out the adversity, and he's made them put a team around him. He's like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do my job, and y'all are going to, respect me at some point for whatever reason.
Can't get rid of Tua.
Yeah, exactly. So I do have to commend him for that, and I do respect that. Okay. We saw what Mac Jones looked like under pressure. That was nasty.
No.
That was nasty.
I mean, we all knew Cam Newton was out of there, and that was going to be Mac Jones' team. So
yeah. So yeah, that's exactly. We all called that one. So before we move on to number 3, I have to give a shout out to Ananta Fashions, because if you guys remember, a couple weeks back, we did trivia night, right? And it was dope. It was cool. And we ended up having a winner, right? Coach Kim Boomhauer always is, here to support us. He's always in the comment section here. He was even in the comment section today. So appreciate you, Coach. He won our trivia night. So I want to show you guys what his prize is. Okay. All right. They got a nice little shirt jersey here for him. All right. Coach Boom, little fan base, Buffalo strong.
There you go.
Right. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that.
So,
Yeah.
Coach Boone won himself a nice customized shirt as well as some customized socks. You know what I'm saying? Very dope. So shout out to Ananta Fashions for making that happen. So appreciative to you guys. And so appreciative to Coach Boone for always, supporting us and winning that trivia night. So shout out to him. We will be sending you your merchandise. I have your information already, and we will be getting that to you. So yes, all right, dope. I'm glad you like it, Coach. He sent me a picture the other day on Facebook, showing me what it looked like. Man, it's really dope to connect with the people, you know what I mean? Especially when we do this to talk about football, and people connect because they want to join in on our conversation, and you end up meeting some extremely dope people. And I'm sure Jake, I'm sure you can speak to how awesome Kim is. I don't know, Charlie, I don't know if you talk to Kim too much, but he's really, really dope guy.
No, I mean, I know that he's one of, I don't know, there's 10 or 15, 20 people that seem to be in all of the the live streams, regardless of what content creation umbrella has a live stream, and I know that he's one of those people. So that's really my only experience to this point.
Yeah, and Coach Boom, I just want you to know, because I know you are watching, I did see the message that you sent me. It's probably the same one that you also sent to Justice for me to get to know and see what you look like. I was checking out on the Walmart checkout line when you sent that, and I completely, I had so much work to do that I completely forgot to respond to that. But I just want you to know I did see it. Same.
I just want to say to everybody, if you've ever contacted me and I just never responded, I probably saw it and then responded in my head, but then I have a million things to do and I just completely forgot about it. So
don't be offended. He does it to me all the time.
See, again, it's nothing personal. I'm forgetting, man. So yes, we're gonna move on to the third most talented quarterback in the AFC. I'm just going to give my answer because I feel like I kind of just gave the answer as to why he was better than Mac Jones, but I'm going to go to Tagovailoa here. I basically just said my piece on Tua. I do have the respect for him for what he did, but I also just don't think he is going to ever be a top 10 quarterback, so we'll see. But Jake, who do you think is the third place here?
Yeah. I mean, with Mac Jones going 4, you have to assume, I already brought up that I'm kind of judging this athletically and what I think a guy's ceiling is going to be. So I definitely would have to go Tua here. I think it's really a coin flip between him and Mac Jones. Kind of the way I laid it out at the beginning is you really can't go wrong with either one putting them in a position because they're so similar, like Charlie said. But I think Tua's just got a little bit more upside with his athletic game that it makes me put him in that third spot.
Absolutely. So do we have a clean sweep across the board, Mr. Gross?
Yeah, I think it's Tua, and I think I'm a little more high on Tua, I guess, maybe than the rest of the Bills fan base. I think that it's possible for him to become, a top 10, 8, in that. And I'm not saying 6 to 15. But once again, I think it's a case. These two guys would have fit perfectly in the 2000 NFL. They would have fit perfectly. It's a guy who's going to have to win with timing, accuracy, and mental acuity. And I was listening to a Vikings podcast today, which is weird, and a guy, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Doug Farrar. He wrote a book called The Genius of Desperation. and it's all about the evolution of offensive schemes and to a little point defensive schemes throughout the history of the NFL. And he's saying it's got to the point where the past 3, 4, 5 years, schemes are advancing so quickly and they're countering each other so much faster than in the 90s and the 80s. I think quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Zach Wilson, you almost have to have one of those guys. It's not the same as 1995 where Troy Aikman can throw 14 passes and hand the ball off to Emmitt Smith and still manage to get in the Hall of Fame somehow, even though he can't move. Like, that's not the way things work anymore. So these guys have an uphill battle, in my opinion, of being as great, whereas Zach Wilson and Josh Allen, I think it's easier for them because they can function more off script and they're just tougher to bring down, and forcing them out of the pocket sometimes is a good thing for them and a bad thing for the defense. And I think Tua and Mac Jones have to be much more perfect in a narrow cone of performance than Josh Allen or Mahomes or Justin Herbert. So
yeah. So we got a clean sweep across the board on Tua. For the sake of time, you guys really want to just give your reasonings as to why Zach Taylor is 2 and Josh Allen is 1. Jake, go first.
So Zach Taylor, the not the football player, I believe he's a coach.
Was he?
Zach Wilson. You said Zach Taylor.
Wilson.
So Zach Wilson, again, his athletic upside. I just think that if you were to take all these quarterbacks and say they put it all together, like they've developed and they're good quarterbacks, I think that just his skill set, him being good, would be better than possibly Tua and Mac Jones being good. I think that kind of his athletic upside would translate better to the game that's played today more than theirs would. So I would definitely say his ceiling is higher than both of theirs, and I think that he would translate the most when it comes to today's NFL. So I would have to say that he's number 2, easy.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I look at Zach Wilson, and I put it on a scale of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, right? They're the prototypical quarterback in today's NFL, really in NFL history. Like, these are the guys who, unless somebody comes in is 6'7", 245 and runs a 4.3, I don't really think you'll see too much better than Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen physically. So I look at that, and then I say also I look at Kirk Cousins, maybe, right? As a guy who is not going to get you any extra yards. He's basically the new school Peyton Manning in that way. He's not mobile at all. He's going to stand there in the pocket and direct things from the pocket. And Mac Jones is more of that to me. Tua Tagovailoa is more of that to me. And Zach Wilson is more of the Josh Allen type to me, where he can make things happen, extend plays, and he can play above the play call. He can go above and beyond.
Yeah, he's your mobile quarterback that is going to be able to push your offense more in today's NFL. I mean, you just look at it, the way that the quarterbacks have always been is you look at the 90s and then going into the 2000s when you have the Bradys and the Peyton Mannings. It's kind of that's how the offenses were running, and those were the perfect guys for that. But now as 20 years ago there was Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, now it's the Josh Allens and the Patrick Mahomes, and those are the quarterbacks and the type of play that you need. Hell, you can even go back to maybe Russell Wilson playing too, kind of just Russell Wilson at his best is that big, the strong quarterback with the big arm that is mobile and can run around and get you those extra yards and extend the plays. Just that's kind of what you need today. And the time of the pocket passing quarterback that's kind of a tree back there is kind of gone. The way the defenses are going, those guys are learning how to get to the quarterback better and better and better, and you need to have a quarterback that's going to be able to move, because if he's just standing back there, he's going to get hit. So the offenses need to be more dynamic. So yeah, I'll let Charlie say his piece on Zach Wilson, but I think he's just more of what you need in today's NFL.
Yeah, I think the path for Zach Wilson to be successful it's actually, I think, really similar to Josh Allen. I know we're supposed to hate Zach Wilson, because he's the quarterback of the Jets, but he's another guy who made some plays in college. He looked not that great at times. Maybe he looked a little bit better than Josh overall in college, but and he comes in this first year and the team isn't great, and he doesn't really know how to read a defense. He doesn't know what he's looking at, but he's athletic. He has a strong arm. Now he's not as tall as Josh, obviously. So, but I do really like kind of the Russell Wilson comparison. I think like that's kind of his ceiling, and I think his path to development, if he develops, will be real similar to Josh Allen. Now will he be, that successful? We don't know, because like it's only his first year, but certainly he is a modern day type NFL quarterback, where Tua and Mac Jones are less so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I add one more thing in there? Also, you might get it with other content creators and other networks where they just like to trash on players because they're on the other teams of who we compete with. But I can tell you, most of the people here at Fanbase, it's Buffalo Bills first, but it's also, being unbiased sports commentators. That's kind of what we want to be. So it's like, yeah, we're going to talk about these guys objectively. Like, yeah, there might be a little bit of a rose tinted glass there because we're Bills fans, but most importantly, we're football fans. So we're going to give you, we're not going to just say something without at least trying to back it up first.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys know how much I dislike Tua Tagovailoa, and I still made him my number 3 quarterback. So, objectivity over here at Fanbase, right? All right, so the best quarterback in the AFC is obviously Josh Allen. Zach Wilson is universally number 2. Tua Tagovailoa is universally number 3. Matt Jones is universally number 4. So no need to add points there. We are going to move to halfbacks. Okay. Now it gets a little interesting, right? So I think the most effective way to do this would probably to do each team's top 2 backs. You know what I mean? Just to kind of get a better vision of what their running back rooms might look like. You know what I'm saying?
You got those written down for us? Because I'd be remiss to tell you who the Patriots RB2
I've got
is.
the what am I doing here? I've got the our lads depth chart up.
Yes,
here.
you do have that.
Sure.
Go, yeah, absolutely use that.
Well, obviously the Bills I think is pretty clear, right?
So we're gonna go Singletary and Moss. Okay, is that fair?
Okay.
Not Moss. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Cook.
I was gonna say yeah.
Okay.
Cook.
Yeah.
Singletary and Cook.
Okay.
Miami, it seems to be Chase Edmonds and Sony Michel.
And Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, they have Raheem Mostert too,
and
don't
Myles
they?
Gaskin.
Yeah, they've got like five pretty good running backs, like rosterable running backs. But Sony Michel is ranked number 2 by our lads on the depth chart, whatever that means.
Okay.
ESPN has Raheem Mostert number 2.
And then the Jets have Michael Carter and Breece Hall. That would be their 2. And then
Damon
Pats
Harrison, Ramondre Stevenson.
Yep. So, man, this is kind of so we're gonna go from 4 because I feel like 1 is probably easy.
We'll see. I really don't even know where I'm going yet. And then so we got Carter, Hall, Harris, Stevenson, Singletary, Cook, Edmonds, and who guys? Gaskin, Michel, or Mostert?
Gaskin might get cut, is from what I'm hearing.
I would probably go Raheem Mostert because there's that kind of San Francisco lineage there. So I feel like that. Yeah, so he's probably your best bet. Plus Myles Gaskin kind of, towards the end of the year last year, they kind of were just figuring out what was going on. And Duke Johnson was the guy who was really carrying them towards the end of the year.
What about Michel?
I think Sony Michel is a guy that's there too and could possibly make the team. I just think the upside maybe with Raheem Mostert and kind of the familiarity with the coaching staff might put him above.
All right, fair enough. So we're going to go Edmonds, Mostert there. All right, Jake. So start us off. Who is the fourth worst? I'm sorry. Who's the worst tandem in the AFC East?
I'm going to assume you just asked me who was the worst. You cut out pretty bad there.
Yeah,
but,
my bad. Worst tandem in the AFC East.
Just worst. So everybody is. Yes, John Herring. I know Mostert's coming off that injury. He's always coming off an injury, and it's pissing me off because of fantasy. But you can't argue that Raheem Mostert, at least when he was healthy, was a dynamic weapon that the 49ers were using. So the worst. I gotta base this off of last year too, just kind of like what these guys were able to do, because I don't want to put the Bills here. If I just gotta go off of plain talent alone, it might be the Patriots running backs, because there's nothing really special there. They kind of just get a ton of carries, and sometimes they get broken off for long yards. And sometimes it's just a run it down your throat. But I would say probably talent-wise, I don't think Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson are anything really special.
Yeah, fair enough. Charlie, who you got as the worst tandem in the AFC East?
The Jets. I've got to have Breece Hall prove to me that he can run without falling down before.
I did not see that.
His I'm telling you, you're gonna watch him play, and someone's gonna like touch him, and he's just gonna fall down. So,
okay. But what do you think about Michael Carter? Because I think
really
Michael Carter.
I really like Michael Carter.
Sure,
actually, but
I think his upside. I guess if you have to weigh like two average guys in the Patriots against the Jets having Breece Hall, who you say you don't like, and Mike, or not like, but kind of just like he needs to prove it. He's unproven. With Michael Carter, who I really liked last year, so I thought he was one of the bright spots on that Jets offense.
Oh yeah, I mean they really did well picking him. Like Jets media and are already like, oh, Breece Hall is going to be the number one guy. Michael Carter is going to be the backup. Like they're all on that train already. Like really, like real strong.
Really.
Yeah, they think like Breece Hall is like this next superstar, like, and Michael Carter is going to be the in between the tackles guy, like the Frank Gore guy, like, yeah.
I mean,
what do you think, Justice?
He was drafted to be the superstar, so I mean, I don't think the hype is unwarranted. Like just a couple months ago, he was like the best thing since sliced cheese, like sliced bread, whatever. People really wanted Breece Hall. Like even a lot of Bills fans really wanted Breece Hall. So I don't think the hype is unwarranted, but I do think he has a lot of talent. I wanted him in the second round. If he was there, I was happy to get him. But I'm also very happy to get Dalvin Cook. So Dalvin Cook, James Cook.
Yeah. I would love to have Dalvin Cook.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But here for me, my personal opinion here. I just.
Oh, he's gonna do it, isn't he?
I'm waiting.
I'm gonna go with Harris and Stevenson. I'm gonna go with Harris. I just don't think those running backs are as good as the other running backs. I feel like one or another has more talent than both of those guys. I feel like all the running backs on this list, they might have bottom four, two places in the bottom four, and so that's why I'm going to go with them.
When I think about the Patriots, how many running backs have just gone into that system and had success, and then they go other places and they're just they don't have it. People are like, what happened? Like that's how I look at it like that. I have to think that they're more of a product of their system just based on their athletic profile. And with the Jets situation with Hall, I mean, when you draft a guy, I mean, like us putting Cook over Moss already, it's just kind of like you draft a guy in the second round, at least Breece Hall, right? You draft him in the second round, and Michael Carter was just the 4th round pick the year before. So it's just kind of like, if you're gonna spend a higher draft capital on it, it doesn't surprise me that people want him to be RB1. Like, that's kind of what you expect if you're going to spend higher draft capital. But I don't know if that's how they'll use it, because I really feel like, coming from San Francisco, it's really just going to be like a running back by committee type of situation with them there. So I don't know if they're necessarily going to have that one guy that's going to be the guy,
Yeah. I have to agree there. And honestly, since I am talking about it, might as well say it. That's exactly why I have Miami as my number 3 team. I do think it's going to be a running back by committee. Edmonds is good. Mostert is really, I feel like, really good, healthy, but that's the key part, is healthy. Man is never healthy. And I don't know if he will be. I think actually, looking at the depth chart, it legit says questionable next to Raheem Mostert's name at this very moment. So like, he's literally not healthy right now. You know what I mean? Like, I have to give them 3, just because I do like Breece Hall. I'm not mad at Charlie's take or anything like that, but I do like Breece Hall. I think that he has talent, and I think that he might do some things. We'll see if the Jets will be able to maximize his production, but I do like Breece Hall. And I like Breece Hall more than both Edmonds and Mostert, and I like Carter more than Mostert. So I have to go with the Dolphins here. Jake, Jordan, what you thinking?
So I put the Patriots. I don't know if I agree with the Dolphins take that you have. I don't know. I feel like if you showed me that list and you're like, look, there are 3 running backs that they're going to keep rostered this year are Chase Edmonds, Sony Michel, and Raheem Mostert, I would say, well, the upside of that running back room is far superior than any of the other ones, just because of what I've been able to see from them. There's 2 teams here that we have rookies on that we've never seen what they do. So at that point, I'm putting the Jets here because I like Michael Carter. I liked what I could see from him, and then again, there's Breece Hall there, and I don't know about that. I wasn't a big Breece Hall fan. I told you I wanted James Cook off rip. I wanted Dylan Parham in the 2nd and James Cook in the 3rd. And we ended up getting James Cook, and I wanted him way more than Breece Hall. So I'm going to put Breece Hall and Michael Carter here at 3rd.
Charlie Gross, what you got for us at 3?
I'm going to stay with my theme a little bit here, and I'm going to put the Bills here, actually.
Okay.
I haven't seen James Cook play, so, I mean, obviously that'll change. And Singletary, how do I say this? I mean, I think he's good. I think he's limited. I like, and that's fine, I think, for what the Bills want, because the Bills do so much with Josh, but I don't know where Singletary falls in the Patriots running back room, and I don't know where he'd fall in Miami's. And obviously, like, Miami's going to run wide zone, so they need a guy who's much faster than Singletary. So it's tough to make those comparisons. But really, because of James Cook, I haven't seen him play in a real game yet. So I'm gonna put the Bills here at number 3.
Fair enough. It is really hard to judge with 2 rookies. So we are obviously going by projections here. With the Jets and the Bills specifically because of the rookies, and even Raheem Mostert because he's probably played as many games as a rookie. But number 2 team, Jake Jordan.
I'm gonna put the Bills here. So yeah, again, as you could tell, we weren't mad that Charlie said that. Like I really think that, you know, the Bills, you can't, especially with them and the Jets, like with the rookie, like us putting the rookies at 2 and then the guys that are at 1. I can't tell you that Devin Singletary, if he was put on the Jets, would be more successful than Michael Carter. I don't know about that, but yeah, I'm gonna put the Bills here because towards the beginning of the season, like last year, Singletary wasn't really doing it. Of course, it was fifth, like they were splitting the ball with him and Zach Moss, and the one thing with it is kind of the sample size. You know, like the Bills, we didn't see a lot of Singletary towards the end of the year when it was, you know, finally decided that our offensive line was going to play better, and we were actually going to be able to run the ball in key moments when we had to. And Singletary looked good at the end of the season. And I know I did shows with you, Justice. We talked about it. Look at Devin Singletary. Like it was fun to watch him towards the end of the year because it finally felt like, okay, we're giving him a majority of the snaps. The offensive line is playing better. Like he's a serviceable back. So I'm going to put the Bills here just because I like James Cook more than I do Breece Hall. So
not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. So we got the Buffalo Bills as the number 2 team, according to Jake Jordan. According to Charlie Gross, who is your number 2 team?
I'm gonna put the Patriots here. I do agree that they're not super dynamic players. You know, I'm not sure, but for what they're asked to do, I think they do it well. I think some of their performance, obviously, against the Bills was just basically one missed tackle. You know, that long run. They weren't destroying the Bills, but I think they're both good players for the system that the Patriots want to run. And I'm gonna put them at number 2.
See, this is what was hard about it is because we were saying these teams are in a bubble, right? So they're all running the same thing. That's why I couldn't.
That's fair.
I couldn't put the Patriots like that because who's running the team? Are we running the Bill Belichick offense?
Right. Like there's no James Cook.
Yeah.
You know that the Patriots can roll out. That's fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Which is why, honestly, mine's. I feel like will shock people. My top 2 will shock people, but I feel like it makes the most sense to me. My number 2, I'm going to put here Michael Carter and Breece Hall because if all things considered, and obviously, knowing what we know, we know who will be, you know, number 2s and number 1s, but I would say, you know, all things considered, if you ask me who has the best, who's going to be the best running team in the AFC East, I would probably tell you the Dolphins, right? I would probably tell you that everybody might probably have a better running game than us, you know. But if I'm looking at this list, I feel like Devin Singletary is the best running back here in the AFC East. You know, granted, we don't know what Breece Hall or James Cook will look like, but you guys know how big a Devin Singletary fan I am. I feel like Devin Singletary is a top 10 talent back. I feel like literally his only weakness is the fact that he can't, you know, just doesn't have game-breaking speed. That's it. And it's not like he's slow. He just doesn't, you know, if he catches a hole, he's not gonna just run past safeties or anything like that, which I mean, okay. But if you can do everything else, he can do everything else. He is a very good center of gravity, extremely balanced. He breaks tackles. He jukes people. He could be a bit of a better blocker. He could be a little bit of a better receiver out of the backfield, but he's not awful at either. I like Devin Singletary, and if I'm looking at this list, I don't think there's a more talented back here. And I also like James Cook, but I like Breece Hall a little bit more than I like James Cook. So we'll see who is the better back there, or we'll see who is used in the better situations, because I suspect James Cook might be used better. And then I think Devin Singletary is better than Michael Carter. So that's, you know, that's kind of my answer. I have the I have the Jets at 2 and then the Bills at 1. So who is your number 1 team, Jay Jordan?
It's the Dolphins. I mean, just Chase Edmonds alone, I think, is more dynamic of a player to have in your offense than Devin Singletary would be. And then the fact that you're going to throw Sony Michel on there and Raheem Mostert possibly, I think just even that. But if we're going to go top 2, even if it's Raheem Mostert's on the outs and it's Sony Michel and Chase Edmonds, I think that pairing is much more proven than any of the other ones. So I would have to go to the Dolphins here.
Charlie, who's your number 1 team?
Yeah, I think they have it's Miami, and I think they have proven versatility. I would say, you've got Edmonds who can kind of do everything. Michelle is more of an inside guy, and like you said, Mostert's another outside guy. I think if we do this again next year after we've seen Breece Hall and James Cook play, I think for me, both those teams could easily vault the Dolphins, because then the Jets and Bills would also have that sort of versatility, that sort of the two guys who can really do as a tandem can do everything. So I do think it's the Dolphins for now. I will say that I don't think the division in general has the greatest running back talent ever.
Yeah. I like Devin Singletary. I do like Devin Singletary. And I do hope we resign him. I hope he's not asking for like a crazy amount of money or anything like that. But I do hope we resign him because I do think he's extremely talented. Obviously, I just said he is top 10 talent back in this league. Okay,
He can't ask for a ridiculous contract. Like, it's just like...
No, I just mean more than what he's probably earned.
Yeah. That's
it also wasn't his fault that he has, that he was put in a horrible position. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, actually, it's one of the fascinating things I think last year about the Bills. I was actually just running the offensive player grades for my skill positions, and it's crazy because they're all actually really low, and I think it's just due to the inconsistency along the offensive line. And it's a credit to the Bills and Josh Allen and Devin Singletary and Diggs that they were able to, this is going to sound weird, win as many games as they could with such a weird offensive line year. I think it really hurt them, just that sort of in and out inconsistent stuff. So I thought that was just really interesting. So yeah, I think Devin Singletary has definitely been hurt by that. And then when they did get more stability, the last 6 games, I thought Devin Singletary looked fantastic, like the best he's ever looked, I think, in a Bills uniform.
Sure.
So hopefully that continues, and I hope they re-sign him as long as he's, I don't want to pay him $10 million, but maybe 5, 6, something in that range, I think I'd be fine with.
Yeah. So that's just how I feel about Devin Singletary. I think he's good, and it seems to me anytime I see him on the field, he is working his ass off. He's putting everything out on the field, and then the only times I see him not succeeding or not playing well is when he touches the ball and there's somebody immediately in his face, and that's not really his fault. So I do feel like Devin Singletary. Again, I look at the AFC East. I feel like he's the best running back there, and I really don't think it's close, honestly. So I don't know, but that's just where I'm at with it. But let's go ahead and move into wide receivers. We're going to do top 3 wide receivers. Okay. We're going to do wide receiver cores here. All right. So for the Miami Dolphins, we have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Cedric Wilson. For the New York Jets, we have Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, rookie. For the New England Patriots, we have Jacoby Myers, Devontae Parker, and Kendrick Bourne. And what?
Oh no, just you named off the New England Patriots wide receivers, and I was
for the Buffalo Bills, we have we obviously got Diggs and Davis. I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Should it be Crowder or McKenzie?
I'm going to say Crowder, just because the Buffalo Bills do like those veterans. I know there's things that we've heard, just kind of with OTAs and how things have been going down. But I just think that the experience that Crowder has, that's going to be something that they probably value a little bit more, and it all kind of, it's a hard question, because I feel like that the veteran thing puts Crowder right there, and you'd be like, we signed him, but it's kind of just like, we're not also paying him a lot too. So if he didn't fit for some reason, it's not like putting you in cap hell to get, like, if they got rid of him too. Like, but I don't think you bring in a guy like Jamison Crowder and then he's not the starter, but I don't know.
Charlie Gross, who should be the person who is added to this? Is Jamison Crowder or is it McKenzie?
I mean, I think it's Crowder. I think that if McKenzie was the guy, why would they bring in Crowder? Like, Crowder's not coming in to be a backup. At least that can't be their thought. Now, if that happens, but I don't think that was their thought. McKenzie is a gadgety, fill-in guy. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what Chad Hall and Sean McDermott think, but it seems like they feel like he's got a specific role. They're comfortable with that. In a pinch, he can do more, but I don't know if they want him, playing 700 snaps in the slot.
Yeah, and I feel like that if Isaiah McKenzie was going to be that guy, now obviously it could be it could be that he's a late bloomer, but I would think that he's kind of been here long enough that if he was going to secure that role, he kind of would have done it already. I know he had Cole Beasley, but I feel like that, McKenzie has these good games, the end of the season against Miami last year when they put him against that
Patriots.
That Patriots defensive back who, like, just was not. I mean, again, the linebacking core for the New England Patriots, they're slow. They're so slow. That was just taking advantage of a mismatch in that game. Like, I think that McKenzie kind of gets overhyped. He's one of those players where, we love him more than maybe the coaching staff does in, like, the system. But I think that I think that Crowder, you don't bring a guy like that with that experience in with the intention of making him your backup. But who knows?
Okay, fair enough. All right, so I just want to point out, I'm going to put Crowder down.
Sure.
But I do want to point out, McKenzie has only played one less year than Crowder so far. And actually, is it one less year? Is it one more? No, one less year. He's only played one less year than Crowder so far. And what I'm hearing out of OTAs is that McKenzie is extremely involved in the initial game plan for the offenses. So yes, I'm hearing a lot about McKenzie and his potential. I'm also hearing a lot about Gabriel Davis and his potential. I'm hearing that you guys might see a little bit of Jay Kumaro. You might see more OJ Howard than maybe you were expecting to see. So we'll see. We'll talk about OTAs another time. But
we
got to get to these wide receiver rankings, right? So we got Diggs, Davis, and Crowder as the Buffalo Bills representatives. Okay, so now we have to rank these guys 1 through 4. Jake Jordan, who is the worst wide receiver core in the AFC East?
It's easy. It's the Patriots. Like, Devontae Parker is their number one. And, do they not even have Nelson Aguilar anymore?
That would make this look worse.
Yeah,
he's somewhere else. I don't even know.
No, he's as far as I see, he's
Aguilar is on
he's
the roster.
Still on the.
Again, see, I don't even know.
It's a bunch of guys that are probably just twos, and then the other guys are, maybe like I don't know. That offense is probably, it's very reflective on what their offense is going to be, and that Bill Belichick is, so stuck in his ways that wide receiver room, he's not doing Mac Jones any favors. So yeah, that's obviously the worst one. Just at face value, that is the worst wide receiver room in this division.
Remember when they got Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry and people like, oh, Bill Belichick's a genius.
The Bills, Booger McFarland's like, oh, the Buffalo Bills are now on notice.
You're in trouble.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Charlie Gross, who's the worst wide receiver core in the AFC East?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's New England. It's just, I mean, I think Kendrick Bourne to me is really the only guy who really, if I was gonna like take a player from their wide receiver core and want him to play for the Bills, I think the only one that I would be okay with is Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with Jake. It's a bunch of guys who are 2s or 3s or 4s, some combination of that. But certainly, it's just, there's a lot of averageness going on there.
Yeah.
And we say, like I said, it's like one of the worst. It's the worst in this division. It's one of the worst in the NFL, I have to think. Like just
probably
for being,
it's probably bottom third.
Yeah.
Overall, it's just bad. It's just a bad. It's not a great roster, to be completely honest with you.
I mean, you could say that I know what I'm talking about. The Texans' wide receiver room is way better.
Yeah.
Brandon Cook alone might make that wide receiver room better. Well, Devontae Parker's decent, but
I bet the Patriots wish they still had that guy.
But yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on to the number 3 wide receiver core in the AFC. This one might be a little easier, but also a little tough because the top 3 wide receivers for the remaining 3 teams are pretty good. Obviously, I'm also saying that the Patriots are 4th. So just if you guys are keeping track at home, Jake Jordan, who is the 3rd best team, the 3rd best wide receiver core?
I'm gonna go with the Jets. So I'm gonna stick with my
very possible. Jason.
Jason, if you go back and watch our episode from last week where we did division winners and stuff like that, you'll see I really made a case for the Patriots being the last one in the division. But I'm gonna go the Jets here are the 3rd one because Garrett Wilson, again, he's a rookie in there. Corey Davis, bona fide 2, and then Elijah Moore, who I really like. So I think that with a rookie, the 2nd year Elijah Moore, who I like, and Corey Davis, who's kind of already hit his ceiling and probably will never be better. I would have to say that it's much better than the Patriots, just skill wise. Plus, if you go the next guy down on the depth chart, Braxton Berrios, I like him too. So I think it's much better than New England. So
yeah, if Hill isn't in Miami, they might be number 2 here. So I guess I just kind of gave my answer. I'm also taking Miami number 3. Charlie, what you got number 3?
Yeah, I got the Jets, and for the same reasons. I think they're just young, and Corey Davis is solid, but I don't think he's become what I think he was picked 4th overall, wasn't he? I just don't think that he's obviously sort of lived up to our perception of what a player picked at 4th overall should be, but he's solid. And I think in 2 or 3 years, the Jets will certainly be battling, if things go the way that they hope with these 2 young players, especially, that they would be battling for the top spot, the top 2 spots anyway. But right now, due to their youth, they're 3rd for me.
Yeah. All right. So clean sweep again. This is where I feel like we might get a little bit of deviation. Who's the number 2 team, Jake?
Okay. So you have to. I'm gonna go the 2s first, right? So like 1 and 2 is Jalen Waddle better than Gabe Davis? I mean, just depending on. That's hard for me to do. I really hate this. Why you got to put me in this spot? Tyreek Hill, again, not the best like the wide receiver with like the best skill set. I mean, he's fast. He's really fast. The fastest player in the NFL. Like, and that really gives him advantages and mismatch pretty much against any defensive back that he's against. But does that make him a better wide receiver? I don't know. And then Jalen Waddle, he was pretty good with Miami last year, with what they were doing. And then Cedric Wilson, I liked him on the Cowboys. I mean, he wasn't a game changer, but he's also not terrible. He's solid. He's the guy that if I looked at the Dolphins one, I'd be like, yeah, he's still solid. So I'm still gonna go Dolphins here. But
Charlie.
it's hard.
Yeah.
I did this straightly. Don't think it's the word. Whatever. by just looking at the traits, similar to Jake. I think Diggs is a better player traits wise than Hill. I think Crowder is a better player traits wise than Cedric Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And I think your wide receiver 2 battle to me is really the most interesting because I think the traits that I value, that Waddle is a bit better at those than Davis, but
yeah.
I think Davis has a unique skill set that isn't found a lot really in the NFL. His work along the sideline is incredible. I think his work in the middle of the field is impressive. And we just haven't seen that yet from Waddle, and kind of no fault of his own. That's based on, coaching scheme and the quarterback. So I'm going to give the number 2 slot to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, and just to throw this on there too is we've never seen Jalen Waddle in that number 2 position with the other defense, the opposing defense, paying respect to the number 1. Like, so what does Jalen Waddle look like when all the attention is on Tyreek Hill? I feel like that's probably dangerous.
Yeah.
So I would have to say that it's really hard, but yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I'm going the Buffalo Bills here at number 2.
Okay.
I feel like, it makes sense. I do think Diggs is a better wide receiver than Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill may not be the best wide receiver, but he is one of the best football players in the NFL. Like, that boy is phenomenal with the ball in his hands in whatever capacity it is. So that battle is productivity wise is almost like a wash. Waddle, I think I have a little more faith in him right now than I do Gabriel Davis. Although I'm hearing great things about Gabriel Davis, I still need to see a little bit more. Still need to see a little bit more. And I do like Crowder more than Wilson, but I feel like talent-wise, if you put Waddle on the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill, that would be unfair, right?
Yeah.
So if I look at that,
But
I'm saying
Dolphins.
But we're doing player to player. We're not necessarily doing Dolphins, right? So that's the thing. That's why I don't see the Dolphins as a threat, because they have 2 opponents to them. But
just to bring this to your attention, you said that the first wide receiver ones is a wash. And then you said you liked Crowder better than Wilson. So if you like Waddle more than Gabe Davis, wouldn't it still be a win for the Bills?
So here's my thing. If I'm looking at this from a perspective of so Cedric Wilson and Crowder is kind of like minimal for me. You know what I mean? It's like Diggs and Hill are here at the top of the screen. Davis and Waddle are like maybe right here. They're not really quite in the same area, but they're there. And then it's like really down here for the, what I'm saying, Crowder and Wilson. This is minimal.
I don't think Crowder's that bad, man.
It's not that he's that bad. It's just that
he's produced on some terrible teams.
Relative to what I'm expecting from a Diggs, Davis, Hill, Waddle, I don't think it's really comparative. You know what I mean? So again, I'm looking at if Hill and Waddle are the tandem on a universal team, that is crazy. Like, and our only saving grace is that it's Tua that's throwing them the football. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. If they had Justin Herbert, I'd be terrified.
Exactly.
Crap.
And I will say too, I think out of the six players we mentioned here with the Bills and the Dolphins, Hill to me is the only one of those 6 players that really forces defenses to play differently than they want to play. As much as I respect Diggs, it's Josh Allen for the Bills that forces teams. It's not Diggs. And Hill is, I think we've seen, certainly he makes Sean McDermott coach scared. I think he makes a lot of coach kind of scared. So I'm really glad that the Dolphins, at least at this moment, do not have a similar quarterback in skills to Josh Allen.
Agreed. And that's you kind of made a great point for me, Charlie, because that was one of the things I wanted to say. Again, if this is a universal team, let's say you have a quarterback. If we had to rank Tua, he's probably in the 20s somewhere, maybe late teens, like late teens. But if we're looking at a universal team, let's say we have a top 12 quarterback, maybe 12, 13, something like that. I feel like if you have a guy like who's 12, Kirk Cousins, okay, a guy like Kirk Cousins who can make a defense respect you. He can put the ball there on a deep pass where he makes the defense respect you. With the way they have to play differently for Tyreek Hill, keeping 2 safeties back, that's not only going to benefit Tyreek Hill, that's also going to benefit Jalen Waddle, because Jalen Waddle also has that type of speed. So I just feel like that tandem is extremely dangerous. So that's why I have them as my number 1 team. So we're going to calculate these all up. Actually, this should be you guys had them as number 1.
It should still be the Bills should be the best, because it's, again, there's 3 people here, so
4. Yep. So the Bills ended up winning by 1 point. Bills number 1, Dolphins number 2, Jets number 3 with a 9, and then the Patriots number 4 with 16.
But it's close, man. Like that one.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking like for me, it's like
1
point. Yeah, we're splitting hairs a little bit here. So
yeah, absolutely. So please don't get your panties in a bunch that I said that the Dolphins have a better wide receiver than us.
That's already over. They're all in your mentions.
Oh my God, please don't do it.
It's over. It's over.
Now, and then the Dolphins fans are going to be like, yeah, you said you have a better wide receiver room, but you also have like an exponentially worse quarterback. So let's relax a little bit. Okay.
The third best quarterback.
I would be scared of the Dolphins if they had a serviceable quarterback, So
if the Dolphins had Zach Wilson, I'd be more scared of them.
Me too.
Even with that, like Zach Wilson is like, he can at least run around long enough for Tyreek Hill to eventually just be open down there. Like it's, I don't know, man. We'll see.
All right, so we are going to do last for tonight the final position battle on offense. We'll probably get to defense another time. Position battles, AFC East position battles, really. I mean, rankings, whatever. We're going to do tight ends. I don't know enough about the Patriots, Dolphins, and Jets offensive lines to really speak to that, so we're just going to do tight ends and go that route. All right, so we got, for the Dolphins, Mike Gesicki, who, hey, let's face it, Mike Gesicki is a motherfucking dog. Okay, that boy's
I love Gesicki.
Yeah, and then they also have me too. And the only thing that makes me feel better about that is that he might get tired of them and then come to the Bills. So we got Mike Gesicki and Durham Smythe for the Miami Dolphins. We got CJ Uzoma and Tyler Conklin, for the New York Jets. We have Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith for the New England Patriots. And then we have, obviously, Dawson Knox and Tommy Sweeney for the Bills play. OJ Howard for the Bills. This is a pretty good battle. I feel like we might actually have some discrepancy here where we might have numbers look a lot different than what other people's might. So, all right, this is pretty tough. First, we're going to start with Jake Jordan. Who's your number 14?
So, this is another tough one. I know some might have it, probably they're like, oh, it's easy. It's the Jets. But I think Tyler Conklin is serviceable, and Uzomah was actually pretty. He was a pretty reliable. Yeah, he was a pretty reliable weapon for the Bengals last year. I would have to say the Patriots, and I like Hunter Henry.
Wow, that is undoubtedly the most expensive tandem here.
Jonnu Smith had 1 touchdown last year. 1. Like it's like they paid him so that he couldn't go anywhere else, pretty much. Like, and now they're sitting there going, why do we do that? They thought they were going to have the next coming of Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. And and you all know, like, we saw them last year. They were all up in it. Look, Hunter Henry, reliable red zone target. That's what he was last year for them. But outside of that, he wasn't game-changing. And Jonnu Smith, he's basically just a waste of a roster spot and a cap casualty for them, pretty much. He is hurting them. So I would have to say that just out of these, I mean, Jonnu Smith is what brings it down for me,
man. That is... a bit of a shocker at 4.
His exact stats. He had 28 receptions for 294 yards and 1 touchdown. The year before that with the Titans, he had 41 for 448 and 8 touchdowns.
Still not great, though.
No, it's not even great. And then he got paid and then was even worse on a team that was supposed to use him more.
All right. And I said it. I said there was going to be some discrepancies about this, and we start off with a banger. We have Jason said it, Pat spending big money on those 2 last offseason. They did, and that is undoubtedly the most expensive tandem here. And Jake has them at 4. Charlie, who you got it for?
Yeah, I got New England at 4 too.
Wow.
Look at that! Look at that!
And it's sort of the failed promise of talent, and not that this factored into my decision, but they drafted 2 tight ends the year before this big spending spree. Now they were 3rd round or 4th round guys, but what and they've got a ton of cap room after this year, and they're gonna have to spend big again because they still stink. So I mean, Hunter Henry I think is kind of like, that's sort of like the Corey Davis of tight ends, which is fine. But Jonnu Smith, I don't know if it was a Jonnu Smith issue, if it was suddenly Bill Belichick wasn't a genius issue, but it's just bad over there. Yeah, that is bad.
Yeah. Damn, that is crazy.
I know Durham Smythe is killing it for you, Justice.
No.
It's really.
I'm going with my 4th here, and again, I have to remember that this is about the players and not the system that they're in.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna go here with my 4th. Again, this is tough. Just from a net value perspective, I'm gonna go here with Uzomah and Conklin. I'm gonna go with the Jets having the 4th best Titans, which, I mean, this is like the best possible 4th place you could have possibly, what I'm saying? Like, they all have really, really serviceable tight ends. Like, these are some really, really good names. So this is nothing against the Jets, although I could care less how y'all feel. But yeah, I'm gonna go with them here. All things considered, if everybody had the same quarterback, I do feel like Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith would perform better than Uzomah Tyler Conklin duo. So that's where I'm going with number 4. Jake, who you got at 3?
3, I'm So I'm looking up stats here at the moment. So who is the second tight end for the Dolphins?
Smythe, something.
Durham
Smythe.
There we go. Yeah. Oh man. So it's between the Jets and the Dolphins here for me. Surprisingly for the Vikings last year, Tyler Conklin had 61 receptions for 593 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Uzama had 49 for 493 and 5 touchdowns, where Durham Smythe had 34 for 357, 0 touchdowns. And then I'm not even going to look at Mike Gesicki because I know that he was pretty
He's
decent.
a dog.
So, and I like him. So I'm going to say that I think Durham Smythe kind of brings it down a little bit for me. And I'm going to put the Dolphins here because I don't think that just having that guy there kind of puts you like the one guy and then an okay guy puts you over 2 guys that were pretty solid. So I'm going to have to say that the Dolphins probably have the worst tandem than the Jets, a slightly worse tandem.
That is fair because that's how I was looking at this, and I'll just get my answer real quick, and then we'll get to Charlie. I was looking at this, and I was like, am I thinking again? I just spoke to. I think Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry both would be more serviceable than Uzama and Tyler Conklin. I think Mike Gesicki carries. I really do. Like, I think he's that good. He might be the best tight end in this division. And Dawson, and remember, guys, all things considered. So that means Dawson Knox does not have the most talented human being that has ever touched the football. Okay. He doesn't have Josh Allen throw him the football, right? Mike Gesicki can make every catch Dawson Knox can make. He can run every route Dawson Knox can run. And this man has had hands of glue for a while now. Dawson Knox kind of just got his bearings last year. Mike Gesicki has been consistent with these ridiculous, spectacular clutch. Like, it pisses me off every week when I see we play Mike Gesicki and he makes some amazing play, because otherwise we would be blowing out the Dolphins. But he always somehow keeps them in the game. So I think Mike Gesicki carries there. I'm going to go 3 is Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. I think Gesicki is better than both of them combined. Charlie Gross, who's your number 3 team?
I'm going to put the Jets here. I do agree that I think Gesicki kind of elevates just by himself above this tandem, but I think this is a good tandem, though. I'm not mad at it at all. I just think that Gesicki gives the Dolphins a little bit of an edge in this particular case.
Fair enough. All right, number 2 team. Who you got, Jake?
I'm probably I'm gonna have to go with the Jets here because I think that the Bills probably have the better of the just because now we have OJ Howard. Just if I had to go potential wise, it's like I think that I like what you brought up of that. What is it that Gesicki has been more consistent? Dawson Knox has basically had 1 year where we're like Dawson Knox has put it together. Like Gesicki has had a few years
and he's had way less like quarterback.
Yeah, and I mean, I always knew I picked up Gesicki in fantasy because when Fitz was the quarterback of the Dolphins, I was like, he was his favorite target. Fitz absolutely made sure that Gesicki ate him and Devontae Parker. So I'm gonna put the Jets here because I think the tandem's solid. I think Tyler Conklin did a-okay for stepping in into the role that the why am I blanking? That the Vikings needed him to. He got the yards, he got him down there, and then they used Dalvin Cook to punch it in the end zone. That's kind of what they did. Justin Jefferson's the guy who's getting all those big targets down there, so it doesn't equate in touchdowns, but when it comes to yardage, he was very efficient. And CJ Uzama, we saw the clutch catches that he made and what he was able to do for the Bengals before he gets hurt. I just like that pairing. I think that 2 really solid guys kind of, put you over a guy that's he's an okay tight end. He's not tight end 1 anywhere. And then, Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, Absolutely. I'm right there with you. And honestly, if OJ Howard is not on the roster this year and that says Tommy Sweeney instead of OJ Howard, Gesicki carries over this entire division.
Sure, yeah.
But since it does say OJ Howard now, and we know what OJ Howard can do when he is given an opportunity and he's healthy and he has the right situation, we've seen him at his peak be a really, really good tight end. So I have the Dolphins at 2, Bills at 1. Charlie, who is your 2 and 1?
Yeah, I'm the same. I've got the Bills at 1. I've got the Dolphins at 2. I think OJ Howard helps the Bills argument. But I will say too, I think I like your point about Gesicki and Knox basically kind of being the same in the receiving game. But I think Knox is a better blocker, and I think he's been they kind of got Smythe because Gesicki is kind of such a bad blocker. So
he's really just another wide receiver out there.
And they need that guy in a wide zone. They need a guy who can block. So I think that does give the Bills the edge. But I will agree that Gesicki has been doing the receiving part, obviously, consistently longer than Dawson Knox has.
Yes. All right. So our final rankings come down to in 4th place. Anybody want to take a guess?
I gotta go Patriots here because I think that all of my rankings except this last one went Patriots, Jets, Dolphins, Bills almost. So I've given the Patriots a lot of points.
All right, so 2nd place. Anybody want to take a guess who got that?
See, this one's a little bit harder.
I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm gonna say the Jets.
I'm gonna say the Dolphins.
Y'all are both correct. They tied at 2nd place.
Okay.
With 9 points. Right. We got a tie for 2nd place between Mike Gesicki and Durham Smythe, and then Uzoma and Conklin. And then obviously Buffalo Bills came in 1st place with 3 points, being number 1 across the board. So yes, that was your AFC East offensive power rankings, position rankings, whatever.
Was that just the last thing for tight ends, or do you have like an overall score? Because I think the overall worst team would have to be the Patriots, right?
Overall score. Actually, yeah, I could get an overall score.
Yeah, because I gave a lot of points to the Patriots. Like that roster is terrible, and they were supposed to be yes, it would be dog water. That's the perfect usage of that. But it's just so funny that they were in the playoffs last year, which is crazy. But like they go and everyone's like, Bill Belichick's a genius. They did the 1-year rebuild. The Patriots don't need to rebuild anymore. This roster is terrible. It's
right.
just
Then he like traded his best offensive lineman, let the best cornerback go. Like genius.
Yeah, what a genius. The 1-year rebuild. It got you in the playoffs, one and done, and embarrassed. Like, congrats. I don't know, man. Like,
do you guys have any opinions on the offensive lines and who you think might have the best offensive line in the AFCs? I'm Charlie. You're an analytics guy. You better have an answer.
I didn't do those scores yet, but
if I had to guess, I'd probably say the Bills across all 5 positions. Like,
wow, really? Think so?
Well, just like combined, yeah, I would have to say like there's some obviously like Armstead is gonna like significantly boost an overall score of the Dolphins offensive line, but I think if you just had to go solid players in each position and no real glaring hole, I would say that the Bills probably have a case there.
Yeah, I would say it's the Bills because they have the least amount of questions. Mm-hmm. I think some of the questions that the Dolphins and the Jets have are sort of like Spencer Brown from last year with the Bills. Like the Dolphins have Eichenberg, who they moved around a little bit, and they're kind of hoping that him or someone else can shore up the right tackle. And then you've got this weird Mekhi Becton, like overweight, we're going to trade him, no, we're not situation.
Yeah.
Like, is Robert Hunt like going to be good enough on the left side with the Jets? And then I think the Patriots actually probably have the worst offensive line.
I'd say so, yeah.
In the division. So I think the Jets and the Dolphins are at the point where, hey, let's try this and we hope it comes together. But certainly Armstead's probably the best just singular offensive lineman in the division. I mean, maybe like Deion Dawkins might give him a run for his money. But I think that Armstead's probably the best individual player, but I think the Bills are the best line.
All right, so I have the scores tallied up. This is very interesting. And it'll be interesting to see how it looks when we do our defensive rankings, because
I can't wait.
Again, this is extremely interesting. All right. So in dead last, we have the New England Patriots with 49 points. Okay.
It doesn't surprise me. It's
49 points. I'm pretty sure dead last. Let's see. Dead last. And all right. And then I think I gave them a 3, but they still were dead last in tight ends too. So they came in dead last at every position battle.
I was about to say
they have 4s across the board, except for the 3 I gave them in tight ends. What were you gonna say, Jake?
Charlie gave them I think 2 in the running backs, right?
Yeah, I had
he
them.
did give them a 2.
Yeah.
They still came in dead last.
Sorry, guys,
I'm talking about in the overall
I
running
carried
back.
that score.
In the overall running back. So they come in dead last with 49. In third place, sneaking out is, well, actually it's not sneaking out because they lost, but the Jets with 33. Okay. So they came in third with 33, and then the Dolphins came in second with 28 points. So it was a little close between the Dolphins and Jets there. And then the Bills 16. So they came in first.
So it ended up like the AFC East is going to end up this year, is what you're telling me.
If this is how the end of AFC East ends up, we have the Bills in first place, we have the Dolphins in second place, the Jets in third place, and the Patriots in fourth place. So,
dude, that's a dub for the Jets. Like, their fan base will celebrate if they finish third.
Is it possible?
They'd be super excited if they won 6 games and finished third or something.
Hell yeah.
That's a real ding dong, the witch is dead moment right there, when every other team is just sitting on top of the Patriots in the division.
Yep. Is it possible the Patriots finish last in the AFC East? Well, Jason, we just went through an entire show. We gave you 90 minutes of content, and we told you that it is very possible because they have the worst offense on paper of any team in the AFC East. And that is what it's looking like. But all right, guys, did you guys have any final thoughts you wanted to get off your chest before we go to the weekend? Charlie Gross, our guest. What? Oh, you were saying
it's fine. I was just gonna say I can't wait for us to do the defense, because I feel like that's gonna be a lot more interesting, because I feel like if there's one strength that a lot of these teams have is they're at least going to have respectable defenses. So
that's true. That is one thing the Jets are known for, the Dolphins are known for, the Patriots are known for, the Bills are known for. So we'll see what that looks like. Charlie Gross, did you have any final thoughts for us tonight?
Yes. First of all, I would like to say thank you again for having me. It was nice to see you gentlemen again. I always enjoy talking football with you guys. I appreciate all the people in the chats. And I'm just going to leave you with this, and I will be doing a podcast episode of the Humble and Hungry podcast based on this. Josh Allen, 6,000 total yards, close to 60 total TDs. Statistical explosion is very, very possible in coming to a stadium or TV near you starting in September.
So you're telling us that we don't need to trademark hashtag JA5K. It needs to be JA6K?
Yeah, I think that 6,000 total yards is totally possible from him, although they'd have to throw the ball like crazy.
Oh my God.
So for those of you who are expecting more running, in order for that to happen, they're going to need to throw it more.
I could see 5,178 passing yards and then 880 rushing yards or something for the season. So it'll bring
if he doesn't win MVP with those stats, I will explode.
It'll be 5,000 with just passing. I'm pretty sure he reached 5,000 total last year. Did he not?
Yeah, he went over it last year.
Yeah, total. But it wasn't
5,000 is nothing. For
they always look at, unless it's Lamar Jackson, the passing yards. Unless it's a predominantly running quarterback like Cam Newton was back when they were what's he the rushing touchdowns and everything like that. But usually if it's over 5,000 yards, oh my God, just passing.
My exact tweet was 5,300 passing yards, 700 rushing yards, 53 passing touchdowns, 7 rushing touchdowns, and 10 interceptions.
I can see it.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe 6 interceptions, but I can see it. We'll see what happens. But thank you guys for tuning in with us tonight. Maybe tune in Sunday at 1 p.m. We might have something for you guys. Just stay on the lookout. Maybe. We'll see. All right. So yes, we are possibly doing something Sunday at 1 p.m. So me and Jake will talk about it, but we'll let you guys know.
Yes, we will.
Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys know we appreciate every single like, comment, subscription, share, retweet, favorite, all of it. We appreciate all the love you guys and support you guys give. So thank you so much for it. We also want to thank our special guest Charlie Gross tonight. Go listen to the Humble and Hungry podcast. Make sure you guys keep up with 12 Squared as well as TTP Analytics. He does so much work, and he said he's going to get back to work. So look out for his work, and he'll probably be back on somebody's show next week because we love having Charlie on.
Well, he's running it back next week to do the defense, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, if you guys want, it's up to you.
All right, so that's a yes. That means yeah. So expect to see Charlie Gross back next week, guys. Thank you guys so much for everything, all the support, love, and everything. But we gotta go to bed, guys. It's the weekend, and I gotta go party hardy. That means go to bed. But yes,
take a shower.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Good